Hello, guys. Just a minute. Um, I'm trying to come down and let us see how it goes. Good morning, guys. Good morning, India. Good evening in California, and bedtime in East Coast. Welcome you all. My name is Ramana Namaraju. I'm the MedBix webcast host. No, I'm not Albert Einstein, but I'm pretty good. so, so I'm going to talk about this operate. This is a kind of a new kind of healthcare media channel. I interview people from around the world with the healthcare things, physicians, d- physicians, pharmacists, healthcare CEOs, the even the workers, the ultrasound technicians. All of them, I interview them. I get a different perspective and come back with the solutions, comprehensive solutions for the world's healthcare problems. We have a lot of problems in healthcare. This pandemic exposed to quite a bit of uh, problems in healthcare. In the United States, we have this huge problem. Is that we have a technology on one island. The another island is the doctors. The physicians have a very strong discipline and intellect, but one thing is missing is they think that it is MBA is going to solve the problem of innovations. In fact, MBA does not solve the problem because it gives you only how efficiently you can exploit the system rather than innovations. If you want to give up, burn out, and give up, that's like a moral injury to your soul. If you wanted to join a innovation train, that is innovation train is creating a platforms. Basically, they are like a Ponzi schemes to funnel the money to the top. So innovations, you need to understand. You need to become a neo polymath of the present day. You need to become a polymath, a different backgrounds you have to have, which is mathematics, physics, and geometry. Little bit of exposure. You don't have to be expert in it. Exposure to it brings you different perspective. That's what the channel is trying to do. I want to bring all the doctor. Yesterday we're supposed to have a Dr. Douglas Bill. Bill is he sent me an email, nice email. Thank you, Dr. Bill. Thank you. I understand that sometimes the doctors have emergencies and conflicts, and then it was cancelled. But I'm honored to have him in the future. He sent me a nice email. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. But today I have a very distinguished guest from India. She is a really female entrepreneur, and she is going to is her name is Sunita. Sunita Yan. She's from Hyderabad, India. She has a pharmacy there, but she is a truly international. She grew up in different parts of the Middle East, traveled in Africa, and grew up in Africa a little bit, and then eventually she came to United States, and she became a pharmacist there, and then she lived in the retail pharmacies for a year, quite a bit of time, 15 years. Then she went back to India, and then she started her own pharmacy there. There's a lot of challenges she faced, but she survived. And then I'm glad to introduce Sunita. Sunita, Sunita, welcome, Sunita. Welcome to the MedBix webcast.
Hello, Ramna.
Welcome to the MedBix webcast, Sunita.
Thank you.
So
Ramna, can
tell
you
me
hear
your
me?
background a little bit. Just what is how did you where do you grow up, and just give me your journey to this point.
Thank you, Ramna. Thank you for having me on this webcast. It's my pleasure. Okay. My name is Sunita. Let me introduce myself. And this is I'm Sunita, and I'm presently residing in India. I was um, I was working in the United States of America for many years in the healthcare sector for almost more than a decade, and I was working in different healthcare sectors like different places in New York, in New Jersey, and different parts of New York as well. Um, and with my extensive experience and knowledge, I moved back to India and wanted to set up something in India. And so I started my retail pharmacy And also I started my online pharmacy as well. So this is what I've been doing in India, and for the last almost like more than year, more than year and a half. So I've been working in the different parts of Hyderabad. We're supplying the medicines. We have different stores, and presently I'm located in Manikonda, which is like very closer to Hyderabad City and Gachibowli, which is like almost the prime area in Hyderabad. So I set up my pharmacy there, supplying the medicines to different parts of Hyderabad, and that's located in Telangana, the southern part of India. So I've been set up here and supplying the medicines through different channels. Like we have online delivery, online pharmacy. We have a delivery as well as we have delivery partners. We're supplying the
Yeah,
medicine.
before, yeah, Sunita, I wanted to ask you. Sorry to interrupt you, but I wanted to ask you, what is a pharmacies in what is a pharmacy that you experience in the United States, and then pharmacy in India? What are the differences and what are the challenges in the pharmacy sector? How the pharmacists are treated in the United States, and how the pharmacists are treated in the India? Could you explain that, please?
Yeah, sure. I worked in the United States for many years in the pharmacy sector, right? So what I've experienced there is totally different from what I'm seeing in India. India is like more concentrating on dispensing the medicines. It is basically the pharmacists are considered as dispensers more than they are supposed to deliver the care. So that is what I'm checking in India, and that is what is happening. And they concentrate more on just about the dispensing the medicines. Whereas in the United States, we just not only the dispense medicines, we also dispense the care in the form of like we check the drug interactions and other things, and basically a patient point of care. Because the pharmacy is supposed to be for the pharmacy is the first point of care for the patient. When the patient walks in, so with the multiple consultations, that is the place where a patient should get proper care. They should get proper consultation from the pharmacist itself. But whereas in India, they do not have that kind of system in India, wherein they get the consultation from the doctors directly, and they just come to the pharmacy to pick up the medicine. So this is what that's what the India presently the system, the
Do,
healthcare system, the pharmacy sector is doing.
do they come to in India? Let us talk about India in the pharmacy in India. Do the people do they get do they go to the doctor first, or if they have a cold sore throat or something that they come to directly to the pharmacy and ask you, what do you think of my problem? You are the first person to they connect with you.
They usually they don't build the system. The pharmacy system is, as I said, they're just dispensers. So the patient doesn't really believe in the pharmacist. That is the main drawback here. Whereas the pharmacist is the main point of the first point of care for the patient, which is not addressed well. So the patient doesn't have any, they do not get any consultation from the pharmacist. They go to the doctor first. Then they get, for even the minor things, they go to the doctor, they get the prescription, and they get whatever the advice from the doctor. Then they come to the pharmacy. So just even for the small issues, for small ailments, even they go to the doctor, they get the consultation, they end up paying almost like 500 to 1,000 rupees. That's almost like huge money from their pocket, right? So that is what they end up paying in the hospitals or to the doctor's clinic. So and then they come to the pharmacy to get even for the small minor cold or whatever. Then they get the medicine from the pharmacy. So which is not really not needed to for the patient to go to the hospital or to the clinic. They can get the right advice. So it's a small advice, right? They can get it from the pharmacist itself. But they don't have that concept that pharmacists can give advice to the patients, because they don't have that concept here. They just believe that they are just a shopkeeper. If you look at the shopkeeper just dispensing something, it's just that here they're dispensing the medicines, so they don't see the difference at all.
But there's a lot of patients have a cold, small things. They don't. If I am in the United States, if I have a cold or something, a minor thing, I go to a pharmacist and ask him, what do you suggest to take it for me? And then do they do that? They don't, even they wanted to pick up some cold medicine, they don't come to the pharmacist and ask them what is the best medicine for me. They don't ask, they go directly and pick up the medicine. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, they either go to the doctor or they walk in and they get the, they have their, they know the medicine name. They check with the friends or family, or they watch it on the internet. They just go walk in and they just pick up the medicine.
They would
Yeah.
believe in the friends than the pharmacist, a well-educated pharmacist. They won't even ask them what is the what do you suggest. That is a really interesting. You need a so so it is a big challenge in the India. The pharmacist role is a very challenging role in India. Then, um, what are the how the pharmacists respond to this kind of a crisis because they are part of the care system? How do they respond to it?
Yeah, they're basically used to it, because they know they are just dispensers. And the saddest spot is, like, the pharmacists believe themselves as, they really don't feel like working for the retail. So they prefer either to work in the industry or in the maybe the hospital. And where the hospital, they have a very limited access to the patient point of care. They're just dispensers out there, and otherwise they end up working in the industry. So that is what it's happening right now. So the pharmacists are supposed to play a pivotal role as a catalyst of change in transforming health and wellness delivery with care, right? So, but that is lacking, and so they don't believe in they don't prefer to work in retail sector much because they're underpaid, or maybe they're just the services are very limited. So that's how they are. I mean, that's the system right now. It's going on. So they believe in working in the industry because they know that they have growth there, or the
India,
hospitals. That,
yeah, India has produced a lot of India has produced um, lot of physicians. They are all over the world, including your family and father and father. There is all over the world, but Indian delivery of healthcare system is not reached to the 1.4 billion people there in India. They have not reached the healthcare delivery system has not reached in India to all of them, right? That is a bigger challenge. So pharmacists can play a major role in delivering the healthcare in India. Do you agree with that?
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Because there's the traditional mindsets has to be changed, and even the pharmacist, there should be definitely a transformation. I would go with the pharmacist itself, because they don't have faith in themselves. They don't have that kind of they're not focused much, so they feel that they're not. I mean, the patient just walks in with their own knowledge. They pick up the medicine, or or they work in the industry, as I said earlier. So that is how. So the pharmacist, limited. The knowledge is very limited. They don't like to express because they know the patient already knows much about the medication, right? So they just dispense. So they're playing much. The role of the pharmacist is just a dispenser. So I would just say there's no difference between a grocery store and the pharmacy. So the grocery store, you're dispensing some, the groceries. You're picking up from the rack with the alphabetical order, and just getting something from the rack. And here it is the same thing. It's just the medicine. So I would say, what is the difference between a grocery store and the pharmacy? That has to be definitely changed, and especially the mindsets of the people out here, the traditional mindsets.
Sunita, there is a echo coming from your side. You need to yeah.
Okay.
So let me ask you a question. You're 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 a woman entrepreneur. You're a woman. You started a career in the as a woman entrepreneur in India. India has a lot of educated women, but still is a patriarchal society. What kind of challenges you faced to starting your own pharmacy there?
Yeah. Okay. So when I started a pharmacy in India, definitely as a women entrepreneur, I definitely had a lot of challenges, especially in the male dominant sector. That is what initially, when I started the pharmacy, I had a lot of issues, and there have been more breakdowns than I ever anticipated as a professional. So there have been many instances like disappointments in the work culture and unprofessional nature system. So different, ways. But as a entrepreneur, so I would just, look at my vision, and I need to fulfill that. I need to work towards that, and not looking back, and not really getting into the mindsets of the traditional mindsets. And just have to do what I have to do, and I have to apply my knowledge, experience, what I've practiced in the US. And because that is where entrepreneurship comes in, right? So I was always moving towards my vision. So I never. I mean, of course, I do face challenges every now and then, but I have to, I work towards that and just try to overcome that, and just going towards working towards my vision.
So, Sunita, I'm going to present a entrepreneur like you in the 1930s. After that, I come back and ask you a question. What are the things you think that America um, can participate with the pharmacies like you in the future when I come back? And but you will be watching with me this presentation. She is an entrepreneur like you. People don't know that, but she is a scientist and entrepreneur. I'm going to present that, both of you watching that together. So so actually, this is the she's a fierce feminist. Sunita is one of them, in fact. She's an innovator, prolific fundraiser, Nobel Prize winner. That is the story of her. Here, I'm going to talk about her in a minute. So there is a, his name is Russian spy, former Russian spy, Alexander Litvinenko, went to, in England, London, he went to a hotel. Somebody invited him for the tea. And then after consuming the tea, he immediately fell sick. He was vomiting, and within days he lost his hair, and is within 2 weeks he died. Before he died, because it's a London, that is a classic symptoms of radiation poisoning that she could not have recognized in any other country or any other place, because he was in one of the top centers of the healthcare in the world, like London, the major metropolitan city. So they recognized it. This is a symptom of the radiation poisoning. So they know that something he ingested. They found out he took a tea with a Russian counterparts. He met somebody in the Russian agency that he got sick. So they put us, it is a radiation. They found out it's a polonium poisoning. Polonium is not outside, is not dangerous, but once you ingest it, it is extremely dangerous. So they dropped some polonium in his tea. So to find out whether what kind of radiation poisoning he had, they had to drop a silver plate in his stomach to catch the polonium. Polonium actually emits the alpha radiation, alpha particles. It's actually alpha particles it radiates. That particles, to catch those particles is not easy, because before they just travel a little bit, they get absorbed. So they have to drop a silver plate in his stomach to catch and see what kind of poisoning he had, and they confirmed he has a polonium poisoning. They blamed Putin did that. That's what they Putin was. He says that he didn't do it, but that is one of the things that Putin did it. Everybody says that, but no, I don't want to go into the. So another story of that's a polonium poisoning. There's a radium poisoning, 1950s. I used to have in India, when I was growing up, I used to have a clock like that you see on the picture. It's a radium dial. You can see in the middle of the night, you can see what time it is. So my mother used to wake me up at 5 o'clock. You see the radium dial, I can see it from here. You need to go to the tutoring. That's what she used to say to me. These radium dials were manufactured in the New Jersey. In New Jersey, they hired a radium factory, radium corporation. What they did is they hired a lot of girls, and then they asked them to do radium. They dial some there. They paint them with the radium. How they do? They dip it, they lip it, and sharpen the brush, and dip in the radium, and they paint it on the dials. Lip, dip, and paint. That's one of the concepts they came up with. And then, even though a lot of men who are in charge of that know that there is a dangerous of the radium poisoning, they didn't care. They didn't tell everybody about that. So there's a lot of women got extremely sick and they got a cancers, mouth cancers, and they got the necrosis. Is basically parts of the cells are died. Part of the jaw died because the lips and everything died. So they sued the Radium Corporation. They won the lawsuit. They couldn't find a lawyer for 2 years. Nowadays, you can find a lawyer for that kind of thing in a second. They could not. Nobody wants to take that against Go Radium Corporation. Well, we have still we have some problems too. Nobody wants to sue the Google. Nobody wants to sue, anybody. But that is still there. So nobody wants to sue so eventually these girls found a lawyer and sued the Radium Corporation. They got the $10,000 back to compensation. Is maybe $100,000 at present day number. So they got nothing, and it is a really sad story that started in the United States. Occupational medicine is started because of that reason. There's another guy, golfer. His name is Erin Boyers. Is a famous golf player in 1930s, 1920s. So they were selling radium, radium for sexual prowess. If you take a radium water, you get sexually more active. Is like a Viagra of the 1900s. So he consumed all the radium, and his jaw got dropped and he dead. So I don't know whether he had any sex or not, but he definitely died with the. So stupidity went on for a long time. So they found out there's radium and polonium or poisonous. These are the most dangerous radioisotopes were discovered by a Polish-born woman. She was born in 1867 in Poland. She migrated to Paris. Her name is Maria Salomea Sklodowska Curie. Curie is her French husband's name. She was married to Pierre Curie. She is the one who discovered polonium and radium, in fact. So she started a small place. She is a very entrepreneur. She is a potato shed, a laboratory. Somebody visited her lab. He said that is a potato shed. It's like a go down there. You cannot see anything. That is not much of a lab. Doesn't look like a lab. So she started with a very limited resources. The woman with a driven woman. So she also designed the first mobile X-ray machine. I used to do the mobile X-ray. She designed the mobile X-ray better than what is nowadays. Much easier. You see that X-ray is just a very petite. They used to call that petite Curie. So she did this during the World War One. World War One, Germany against everybody. So she created this mobile X-ray unit, and then she designed it, and she is a very entrepreneur. In fact, she did not discover the X-rays. Röntgen discovered it, but she created the use of the X-ray for the for that machine, to do the mobile X-ray. So that is the first bullet X-ray, one of the first bullet X-rays they taken out. That's the first bullet that pierced through the heart and lungs. That's what they showed, the first X-ray of the bullet. One of the first X-rays of the bullet. That was a very the X-rays became extremely popular during that time. So Mary Curie is a prolific fundraiser. People don't know about this. She went to she quoted a lot of French women, French elite women, aristocrats, to get the money for the French military. Doesn't want to give the money. They don't have money for giving to her to design the mobile X-ray. Medical field is not that matured yet. They did not give her money. Said, hell with you. I'm going to go to the French woman and raise the money. She raised quite a bit of money from the. She is one of the people who funded her is Coquet Chanel. Chanel is one of the, as you all know, she is very famous. She raised quite a bit of money from all these French elites. So she's a prolific fundraiser, and she came to United States. She came to United States. In fact, Andrew Carnegie Mellon. Andrew. She went to Waldorf Astoria. She gave a fundraiser. All the women attended. She was one of the well-received women. In fact, she raised $150,000 during the time. It's like $2 million now. It is. She raised quite a bit of money for the raise, and she also got. She went to University of Chicago, Yale University. She visited a lot of universities. Smith College in the middle. They made a chorus song for her and praising her. She was one of the well-received women. She got very. She discoverer of radium and polonium. Already they're taking place. Radium is a cure for cancer at the time is taking over, and people are getting very popular. Is popular about she getting a very great name in the United States. She went to White House. That is a on the right side is a White House dinner menu. They gave it to her. Some you can see the dinner menu from the White House. The Andrew that is Harding is the President Harding May was a president. Great attainments in the realms of science and intellect. What he said in his praise of Mary Curie, and he gave a 1 gram of radium to her as a donation. So she's a prolific fundraiser, prolific go-getter. She is. Mary Curie, then she went back to in the France, and she was driving the truck like a 18-wheeler truck for that kind of comparison. Mary Curie was actually driving those petite curies, mobile X-ray units. On the right hand side, she recruited 20 women, and then one of them is her daughter Irene Curie. She trained them as X-ray operators. They operate. They trained their. They trained. She trained X-ray operators, 20 of them. So she is a go-getter and an action planner, really. So mother-daughter team is excellent. She trained her daughter Irene Curie in X-ray using X-rays. Then herself, Irene Curie, became herself famous. So Marie Curie won the Nobel Prize for radium, discovery of radium on the one side in the physics side. She's the only woman who got the twice the Nobel Prize. So she won the Nobel Prize for the radium, discovery of the radium, and then isolating. She used to bring a lot of coal from mines. To get a 1 gram of mines, you need tons of mining iron ores and all those things. So it's a full of shed, and then full of these materials. So she really worked very hard. So she was awarded Nobel Prize at the time. They She received the Nobel Prize in the Sweden, but the second one Nobel Prize at the time her husband died. Curie died, and she was dating her his assistant she was dating. So in fact, they don't want to invite her to the Nobel Committee because she had an affair with the after the husband died. She was having sleeping. She was having an affair with woman. She was discriminated, and Einstein came in her defense. He wrote a very strong letter for her, and in fact, I can post that letter to you in the columns. But Einstein said that she's a genius, and don't. She told her, "Don't worry about these people. Press is not that important. Press was all about your your affair with the is her assistant." But in fact, what she did was really fantastic, and Just let me see what Yeah, my son sent me a text, and he's getting his birthday is in few days, couple of days. So he's a great kid, and is older now. He's not a kid anymore. But yeah. But anyway, so she won the Nobel Prize twice. In the her daughter Irene Curie, she's also you can produce the radioisotopes. You can do one of them. One of the most popular one is technetium. That's the use widely used in the nuclear medicine now in the United States and everywhere in the world. So she was the discovery of the technetium 99M that is widely used now. She said that artificially you can create radium, so the isotopes, radioisotopes, by bombarding the regular stable materials. So she won the Nobel Prize. Her and her husband won the Nobel Prize. So Nobel Prize is in your family, is a family affair. Mary Curie won the Nobel Prize for the discovery of the radium, and her husband also shared the Nobel Prize with her for discovering radium isotope, radium material, radium nuclear material. Then her daughter Mary Curie won second one for the isolating radium in chemistry. That's three in their family itself. And their daughter and their husband, Frederick Curie and Irene Curie, won the artificial isotope technetium. They won the Nobel Prize. So five Nobel Prizes in family. What a smart family it is. So Mary Curie is a scientist. She is not like a Elon Musk, like a patents everywhere. She refused patents. She doesn't want to do patents of X-rays or radium or polonium. She would have been a billions of dollars. Nuclear medicine would have been paying her family together. We have these patents everywhere now for idiotic pain. For everything there's a patent now. You know, so it's just ridiculous in these kind of things. It is the people like Jonas Salk, who invented polio. He did not patent it. So we have to stop this patent nonsense. We need to help the humanity. This is crumbling inside of us if you don't do these kind of things. But anyway, she refused the patents. She got the lab. She did. She came to the United States. So, in the United States, there was a mining engineer from Canada, Montreal, in Quebec, Alberta, Canada. He was a mining engineer, James Douglas. He was he was doing the mining in Colorado. In fact, they found a lot of radium there. And then there's a gynecologist, Dr. Howard Kelly, is from John Hopkins. He's a father of gynecology. In fact, he's. I'm going to do a show on his name one day. In, he was, how he was. He was a true doctor. That is a definition of a doctor. He put there's no calling bells at the time. What he did was, in the waiting room in the middle of the night, he put a rope goes all the way, he's in upstairs, he used to sleep upstairs. He goes all the way, the rope to his toe. He tied up with his toe, and somebody can pull up his toe, that is a calling bell. In fact, he used to wake up and come downstairs and see the patients. That kind of a dedication is unimaginable. What the doctor, that is a doctor. My father is like that. In fact, in small village, the people used to come all the times. In fact, I tell you the story of a woman who lost ectopic pregnancy. My father spent middle of the night, went there and spent a whole day, all night helping her. But unfortunately, we don't have tools to do a lot of saving the lives. But that is a that is the doctor's profession. Is a truly a noble profession. Howard Kelly belongs to one of those most respected doctors, and he has to go in the history as a one of the father of the OBGYN. Then Giano, I think I am saying right, Giacchino Fila, Giano Fila is an Italian physicist. He was trained under Marie Curie. There was there was a another guy trained under Mary Curie was Sachindranath Bose. Sachindranath Bose from India was trained under the Mary Curie. In fact, both are students of Mary Curie. In fact, Mary Curie did not like Sachindranath Bose because you need to learn French, she said. So she was upset when somebody doesn't learn is not learning French. So yeah, actually Sachindranath Bose and then Gyanofella are the two students of her. Gyanofella came down to Philly. I'm saying right his name. I'm not killing his murdering his name. I hope not. He started a memorial Sloan Kettering hospitals for radium hospitals. He started it. So he was trained under the Mary Curie, came to the United States and started in New York. Actually, I interviewed a doctor, Dr. Vikram Dogra. He said that he visited this Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital quite a bit. It's a very famous cancer hospital in New York. So they had the largest depository of the radium, 9 grams of radium. That's a lot of patients. Radium was how they are treating is radium. They take the radium and put on the prostate cancer, on the cancer directly, put on the cancer itself, and try to kill the tumors. That's what they're trying to do. It is a really radium hospital is the beginning of the nuclear medicine. She is the mother of nuclear medicine in my view. Mary Curie is the mother of nuclear medicine. So she died in 1934. Mary Curie. She was immortal pantheon. She was buried under the immortal pantheon along with her husband. These are the famous scientists and politicians are buried in that pantheon in Paris. She was buried. So she is nuclear medicine is now 10,000 hospitals. We do 40 million procedures per year around the world together with the nuclear medicine because of one particular lady. I tell you that. So nuclear medicine is a functional medicine. It can it can see the molecule at the molecular level. It can recognize with the and with the SPECT and the PET CT SPECT camera can give you nuclear medicine. You can do all the bone cancer and you can detect the cancers with these two modalities. You can also check the viability of the hearts, SPECT and PET CT. I did a program on PET CT separate. PET CT is a so these SPECT means single photon emission computer tomography. Single photons, you may be wondering the physics of the physics people. Single photon, you can actually get a Ray-Ban glasses, can reduce the number of photons. You can get a photons, you can collect it, but useless photons, those are all. But you can do iodide, crystal iodide, you can use it. It's a cerium diode crystal. You can use it to get the single photons. So SPECT photon PET CT is another one to detect cancers. That's a gold standard now to detect cancers. So without Mary Curie would not have been there. She was the truly mother of nuclear medicine. She's a she's a fierce feminist, and she said something at the end. Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less. Mary Curie, wonderful woman, tribute to a great woman, Mary Curie. I to support this channel, people like her to bring this kind of stories. I want you to buy a T-shirt, support her. Her T-shirts are all available on Amazon. If you go to my website www.dailywearformedicine.com, if you go there, you can see and you can buy from Amazon. Thank you for joining. Let me bring the Sunita back and ask her her opinion. What do you think? And Sunita, so Sunita. So what do you think? She is like you in the 1920s and 30s. She's going all the way, entrepreneur,
It's amazing.
go getter. So she could be inspiration for people like you and all the women up there.
Absolutely, absolutely. She's an amazing lady. I mean, so many facts anyway about her. Two Nobel Prize winner. Wow, that's amazing. Got to learn a lot of things. And as you said, she's a fierce feminist, which is very important. Especially as an entrepreneur, you need to have that and fearless and really, focusing on the vision and actually going for it, hit the goal. Yeah, amazing. It's beautiful, beautiful. Thanks for sharing, Ramna. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you. So let me ask you. So if there are, what are the American companies can collaborate with you? What kind of collaborations you think can help you to reach more people in India to give a cheaper and better healthcare?
I'm sorry.
What
Cheaper?
kind of collaborations from the United States you need to help you to reach more people to give a more better health care for a large number of Indians in the rural areas, large number of Indians that you can deliver health care much cheaper and better. What kind of collaborations, what kind of technology platforms, what kind of things you need to help from our side, from the United States, can help in the Indian healthcare delivery system?
There's a lot to be done because it's a huge population. India is a large number of population. So we need to focus more on the services, not just about supplying the medicines. And so as of now, we are supplying the medicines. I definitely need collaborations and anybody like the families are in India. I can supply the medicines for the parents who are staying here, and I can take personal interest by calling them, checking on them, and making sure everything is okay about the medication from A to Z. So that all I can do it for them, for the families who are here, and so they can stay in peace that their families health are in the safer hands. So that thing I can provide for the children who are staying away from the parents. Most of the parents are like in India because the older population is here and the younger generation they're elsewhere. Then another thing is I definitely need technology help, and maybe we can introduce more services such as maybe we can concentrate more on the pharmacogenomics. I'm looking that sector as one of the vast. Maybe we can introduce that so that we can, rather than we dispense the medicines, we can focus more on the problems related, not just putting the medicines into the body, whether we are putting the toxins or the medicines, because there are a lot of side effects involved because of the medicines, right? So we have to check whether if the medicines are really suitable for the patient. So depending upon that, then we can dispense the medicine. So the doctors can prescribe the medicine. That'll be easier for the doctors to also know which medicine is right for the patient. So we can introduce those kind of things in the pharma sector. So this is one thing I'm looking at. Maybe collaboration with the pharmacogenomics and companies, and more services, functional medicine, personalized medicines. All this I'm looking at. The right collaboration with the US.
Large number of Indian programmers go around the world now. As young people under 30s, they're all over the world. Their parents are aging in India, so they wanted to supply. They wanted to see the health of the parents. They wanted to understand what's going on with their parents. So you can help them to supply medications to parents and give them what is kind of medication they're taking. You can help them. What kind of, how do they reach you? What is that is a website,
Yeah,
docforms.com.
yeah. So docforms.com, they can place an order, and we'll reach out to the patient, and we'll monitor the medication history. We're just not, as I said, we are not just dispensers. We dispense care. That is my I focus more on the care. So the parents are like we make sure that the parents are getting the right medicine and they're taking on the rightly the timely manner, and whether they're overprescribed or underprescribed, and overutilization, underutilization, and a lot of side effects, as you know, with the medication. So we check all that. So then we dispense the medication. It's like a personal care, basically. So we focus on that. So I would, tell the children who are staying away from the family, like parents, though parents are in India and children are in the US, I would say that, I would take personal care of their parents, so you don't have to really worry about the health. So we from Doctor's Pharmacy can assure you that, we will take care of your family.
It's a www.docfarms.com. Sunita, it is absolutely an honor for you to talk with, come to our show. It is we
Right.
learned quite a bit of about India and Indian your journey and pharmacist life, life of a pharmacist. We know come to know quite a bit. Thank you so much. It is truly an honor to join you. Thank you so much for the
Thank you.
coming on
Thank
our
you for
show.
having me, Ramana. Thank you.
Thank you all. Good night, and I'm praying where you can get the shows, the shirts.
We are retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it